the esteemed delegate of St. Vincent and Grenadines, followed by Vietnam.
Mr. President, good afternoon again. The Marathas developed an innovative large-scale defense system by integrating existing and new forts into a connected defensive network that used the region's terrain to its advantage. Organized into clusters with different territorial and defensive roles, this system helped control key trade routes through the Nats and along the Konkan coast. It enabled the Marathas to consolidate and expand their power from the 17th century to the early 19th century, amidst regional and global shifts, colonial expansion, evolving warfare, and socio-economic changes. The State Party of India submitted the Maratha Military Landscapes of India to the WHC as a serial nomination of 12 carefully selected forts on the criteria 4 and 6. ICOMOS is of the view that the nomination as presented did not fully illustrate the attributes of such a complex site. The State Party of India has, with meticulous detail, presented a series of clarifications and justifications of the site as having the attributes required for a nomination. This is summarized in the amendment under discussion. St. Vincent and the Grenadines notes that the name of the site is changed to the Maratha Military Defense System. Kindly permit the State Party to clarify this. St. Vincent and the Grenadines thanks both the State Party of India and ICOMOS for the extensive work carried out on this nomination and supports its inscription on the World Heritage List of Humanity on the criteria 4 and 6. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Vietnam, followed by Italy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Vietnam has carefully gone through the nomination dossier and the ICOMOS evaluation. While noting the work by ICOMOS, we observe that a number of significant aspects of the dossier, including the nominated property area of the Maratha territory and the selection process of the forts, was not fully comprehended by ICOMOS. The 12 component forts are truly exceptional, showcasing Maratha military defense features and integration with the nature, besides representing the extensive network through their intra-operational linkages. Vietnam therefore strongly supports the inclusion of this section of the Maratha Military Landscape of India under criteria 4 and 6. We are in complete agreement with the amendment in terms of the extension of this nomination into a second phase to consider the possibility of including more forts as a later stage. We also feel that the original title of the nomination is retained as it truly links with the spread of the force and the network in varied landscapes across India. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Italy, followed by Zambia, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Italy supports the nomination of the Maratha Military Landscape of India for inscription under criteria 4 and 6. This remarkable nomination draws together 12 strategically significant forts that collectively illuminate Maratha defensive ingenuity, terrain adaptation, and territorial cohesion. Italy recognizes how these forts, connected through supply lines and cultural symbolism, offer a comprehensive example of historical military architecture shaped by landscape, a concept very similar to our own Mediterranean fortifications. The nomination dossier showcases careful serial selection and rigorous integrity assessment, confirming that each fort meets outstanding authenticity and protection standards. Italy appreciates in particular the draft amendment submitted by Greece as it incorporates two important recommendations of ICOMOS. First of all, extending the culture-specific protection for secondary and tertiary forts in the buffer zones of the 12 components. And second, the proposal for a second phase strategy enabling India to expand the boundaries later to include more of the network forts currently in the buffer. This flexibility highlights robust management planning and respect for future adaptation. Therefore, Italy fully supports the inscription under criteria 4 and 6. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Zambia. Next will be the Republic of Korea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Zambia would like to support the motion to inscribe the nominated property on the World Heritage List under criteria 4 and 6 on the basis of unparalleled representation of the property's historical military network. Having examined the nomination dossier, we have taken note that the Maratha fortifications are the most extant representative of anchor forts. They represent a military defense system that is authentic and retains its original location, design, technology of construction, motifs, details, and materials of the respective historical period. We acknowledge and commend the State Party for its diligence in developing a quality nominations dossier. we call upon the state party to continue working on the follow-up recommendations made by the advisory bodies. In view of the foregoing, Zambia fully supports the proposed amendments for inscription of this property on the World Heritage List. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Republic of Korea, following by Qatar.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Republic of Korea, while taking note of the recommendations of the advisory bodies, has thoroughly reviewed the information provided by the state party and considers that the historical, cultural, and architectural values of the nominated property are sufficient to demonstrate its outstanding universal value as a World Heritage Site. We find that the Maratha Military Defense Systems of India as an outstanding example of the evolution of defense strategies and military architecture in a specific historical and regional context. Its construction, harmonized with the natural landscape, demonstrates remarkable ingenuity and architectural adaptation to military needs, reflecting the technological and spatial solutions of the time. For these reasons, the Republic of Korea co-authored the draft amendment for the inscription of this property and hopes that the key recommendations of the advisory bodies will be duly implemented. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Qatar, following by Jamaica.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With regards to Maratha Military Landscapes nomination file, we would like to thank ECOMOS for its detailed evaluation. Mr. Chair, we have engaged in constructive dialogue with the state party concerned and carefully examined the state party's comprehensive response, which presents thoughtful justifications and a clear commitment to addressing the concerns raised by the respective ECOMOS evaluation. The nominated series, which demonstrates a combination of tangible and intangible heritage and military planning, reflect significant cultural and historical values. We believe that the inscription of the site with the proposed amendments, by which the state party's commitment for continuing collaboration with the Centre and advisory bodies and for strengthening community participation in management is clearly noted, would enable also more effective and appropriate implementation of protective measures under the framework of the World Heritage Convention. Therefore, Qatar co-authors the proposed amendments for the inscription of the Maratha Military Landscapes of India on the World Heritage List. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Qatar, following by Jamaica.
Thank you, Chair. Jamaica thanks the State Party of India for submitting this wonderfully complex nomination of the Maratha Military...
Excuse me? Oh, yes, Jamaica, please. Sorry, it's my mistake.
Okay. The Maratha Military Landscapes of India. The serial nomination, consisting of 12 primary forts, illustrates the Maratha military network, which allowed the rise to power between the 17th and 18th centuries. As indicated, these components are the best surviving ones of the network, exhibiting a relationship between the expanding Maratha kingdom and the simultaneous development of Maratha community ideologies, culture, and social structure during an important phase in the history of the Indian subcontinent. The State Party of India has provided additional information that addresses some inconsistencies with the ECOMOS evaluation and have indicated clarifications to include those associated with the defensive axes, conservation and management, and possibly a phased approach to the nomination addressing boundary expansion. The State Party also indicates that the component parts of the serial nomination are effectively managed jointly by central and state authorities under established legal frameworks. Jamaica thanks India for the clarifications provided and is of the view that the State Party has satisfied the requirements for inscription of the Maratha Military Landscapes of India to the World Heritage List under criteria 4 and 6. We support the draft amendments submitted. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Senegal, following by Bulgaria.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Le Sénégal soutient l'inscription des paysages militaires Maratha. En effet, les paysages militaires Maratha illustrent de manière exceptionnelle le développement d'un système défensif et territorial unique mis en place par l'Empire Maratha. Deux arguments forts issus même du rapport de l'organe d'évaluation retiennent notre attention. La valeur universelle, témoignée à travers une stratégie défensive remarquable, adaptée aux conditions géographiques de l'Inde péninsulaire. Il met en lumière une conception militaire originale fondée sur l'utilisation des reliefs, forts de crête, de plaine, maritimes, intégrés au tissu sociopolitique et administratif maratha. L'intégrité et l'authenticité bien conservées. L'organe d'évaluation note une intégrité paysagère et architecturale solide, avec des éléments bâtis bien préservés, fortifications, citernes, arsenaux, ainsi qu'un système défensif cohérent, toujours lisible dans son environnement. Ces éléments sont restés globalement intacts malgré les évolutions postérieures. Ce dossier illustre donc l'ingéniosité d'un modèle militaire endogène, en dialogue avec la nature et l'histoire, digne d'une reconnaissance mondiale. Nous soutenons son inscription. Merci.
Thank you so much. I'll give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Bulgaria, following by Belgium.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Bulgaria is grateful to ICOMOS for its report on the Maratha military landscape and appreciates the enormous efforts of the state party to nominate this impressive serial nomination. It consists of 12 anchor forts within the military network and holistically symbolizes the manifestation of power and geopolitical dominance through strategic vision, geographical diversity, defense planning, social inclusiveness, and the deployment of military tactics under the Maratha regime. The additional information provided by the state party clarifies the territorial boundaries of the Maratha state as established between 1674 and 1684, recognized officially in historic treaties present in archival records. The selected 12 components include all essential natural and man-made defense attributes that fully demonstrate the execution of the key Maratha military operations within its defense system. We support the view that the Maratha defense system spans the Deccan Peninsula along 3 strategic axes and not 2. And to conclude, Bulgaria is of the opinion that the proposed nomination should be inscribed on the World Heritage List. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Belgium, followed by Italy.
Monsieur le Président, nous remercions l'ICOMOS pour son évaluation détaillée et pour son investissement pour améliorer la compréhension de ce dossier complexe. Nous félicitons l'Inde pour la présentation de cette impressionnante série de fortifications militaires marathes qui domine le paysage des Ghats et a une importance historique majeure. Je ne vais pas répéter ce qui a déjà été dit par maintes autres délégations. Mais en réponse à l'ICOMOS, l'Inde a pris dès à présent des mesures et des engagements pour répondre dès à présent aux questions et aux préoccupations posées en vue de revoir la proposition sérielle, de changer son nom, d'améliorer sa gestion et, le cas échéant, de revenir ultérieurement avec une proposition élargie. Permettez-moi cependant, Monsieur le Président, si vous l'acceptez, de poser une question à l'État partie, qui, nous le savons, est particulièrement engagé dans la sauvegarde du patrimoine immatériel et qui a proposé le critère 6 dans sa candidature. En vue d'évaluer la pertinence du critère 6, de l'importance du patrimoine culturel vivant qui se déroule dans le bien, l'État partie peut-il nous préciser l'importance des sites choisis pour la transmission de la mémoire, des pratiques sociales et traditions vivantes, et si des mesures de sauvegarde telles l'identification des pratiques culturelles existent ou sont en cours. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you so much. I now give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Argentina, following by Rwanda. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We thank ICOMOS for its report on this nomination, as well as the State Party for the complementary information provided. After the study of the said information, we understand that the nominated boundary of the 12 components ensures the inclusion of essential attributes justifying the OUV of the serial nomination. The 12 anchor 4 components of the Maratha Military Landscapes are central to intergenerational identity transmission, where communities actively engage to commemorate courage, sacrifice, and leadership models of the Maratha period. Therefore, we support as co-authors the amendment presented by Greece for the description of the site, and we kindly ask the State Party to continue its effort for the preservation of the site. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Rwanda. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. The Republic of Rwanda is pleased to express its support for the inscription of the Maratha Military Landscapes of India on the World Heritage List under criteria 4 and 6. This nomination presents an exceptional testimony to a uniquely evolved military architecture, reflecting the strategic brilliance and defensive ingenuity of the Maratha state between the 17th and the 19th centuries. The selection of 12 primary forts across diverse topographies demonstrates a well-defined and coherent serial approach underpinned by rigorous historical, territorial, and architectural analysis. We commend India for the thorough documentation and clarifications in its nomination process. The forts, set on hills and islands, possess both architectural and significant landscape value, justifying their description as a military landscape. We appreciate the State Party's conservation efforts and inclusive management framework which engage local communities and NGOs. The cultural reverence to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj should be viewed as a strength in ensuring long-term protection and community ownership of these exceptional sites. It's also important to recognize the challenges of scale and the feasibility in serial nominations. Rwanda supports India's views that the 12 nominated components represent a comprehensive and effective embodiment of the Maratha military network, and that expanding the nomination further as suggested would undermine the coherence and the manageability of the property. The Maratha military landscapes are not only of national pride to India, but also of universal value, offering insight into regional responses to conflict, territorial defense, and the political sovereignty, themes which resonate globally and across civilizations. Rwanda is confident that this nomination satisfies the necessary conditions of integrity, authenticity, and outstanding universal value. We therefore express our support